Hey there, everybody. Matt Carter here.
And Jessica Carter from CARTERMATT.com.
This is our reaction to the Survivor Winners at War premiere. I have just watched 2 hours of my favorite Survivor players of all time.
It was great.
I went through a lot of emotions. I think at one point when they started suggesting that Tony was going to be voted off in the second episode of a Survivor season again, I started convulsing. I started to feel, I was like, guys, don't do this to me again.
It's true. It was happening.
I don't need to lose. Tony doing whatever it is that Tony does. I love that they're trying to be like, oh, Tony is playing this game so fast. He's a new school player. No, there are old school players, there are new school players, and then there's Tony.
It's true.
It is,
and I like how he was trying to kind of be like, I'm gonna play the game different. I'm not gonna look for it at all. Look at me. I'm at camp. Look at me. I'm fixing the shelter.
But they should have just put one of those chyrons on the screen. 5 minutes later, there's Tony just running through the junk. I love Tony. I love so many people. That's what makes this season so fun. We're going to take you through the 2 tribal councils, whether or not people made the right moves, who we think are actually playing well, who could be in danger moving forward. But before we do, if you like this video, give us a like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. We have a lot of Survivor coverage coming. We don't want you to miss any of it. All right, so without getting into the specifics, did this actually live up to your expectations for 2 hours of Survivor winners playing the game?
Yeah, it was really good. I really enjoyed it. I got to see some of my favorites and some people playing the game really well, and other people just playing this game so weirdly, Ben. But it was cool, and it was cool to see some people trying to kind of change up their strategy a little bit. And then people like Rob, who didn't change up his strategy at all and didn't need to, because why is he not a target? Nobody knows.
Well, that's what made this premiere, I think, so fun. I mean, in some ways, it was probably less crazy than I thought it was going to be. I think I expected everyone to just be running around like Tony in the second hour for the entire 2 hours, but there was a lot of skittishness. It was sort of like everyone knew that anyone else in the game was capable of being responsible for taking them out, so they were all just kind of hiding and being like, don't look at me for a long period of time. Nobody wanted to say anything.
Yeah, and it was interesting to hear them talking about how on edge they were by the end of it, because when they all came in, it was just like, hey, how's your family? How are your babies? How are your dogs? It was such a community of hey, we're all here together. And by the end of it, it's just we're all so on edge, and I don't even know why. It's the first night. Yeah,
the intensity level, I think, of this really kind of just spiked up almost right away. And I think really, usually when discussing these 2 hour survivors, it's always easy to talk about the second hour first, because usually that's the one my adrenaline's going the most for. But I think it might actually be beneficial somewhat to go in chronological order here, because we have this first tribal council where we lose Natalie Anderson, and this, I did not expect Natalie to be the first boot. I thought Natalie was going to do fairly well. I think she's athletic. I think she's pretty strategic. It's weird.
Yeah, I thought that, and I don't know why, because it never really seems to go this way, but I think when Parvati and Rob were sitting on the beach and they were just like, we're not targets, I was just like, I don't understand. It feels like if I went to Survivor and I saw the two of them on the island, they would have to be the first ones to go, because if they weren't, then I deserve to lose. They're all winners, but then Boston Rob is in this own lane, and you know that if you leave him there too long, his charisma is just going to seep all over everybody, and then you're never going to get out of it. I know that there are other opportunities later in the game to maybe get rid of him, but it never ends up working. He's got to go right away, no question. So having that conversation where they were like, yeah, nobody's talking about us and we don't know why. Me too.
I'll give Rob a slice of credit here. I think him going to Parvati, he did exactly what I wanted Rob to do, which was, okay, guess what, Rob? Everyone wants your head on a pike for the entirety of this season. Yep. So just go and be with the other big threats. The people who are actually incentivized to want to keep you around. And yeah, Parvati, she doesn't want to be the biggest target out there. Parvati is smart, so of course.
And I think he fell into just a little bit of luck with Ben, who just threw it all out there and was like, oh, so this is happening and this person's throwing your name out there. Oh, yeah, they're throwing my name out there. That conversation then for him to go and talk to her and say, oh, so I hear you're throwing my name out there. Yeah, I am throwing your name out there because you're Boston Rob and you're a problem. All right, now we're in an alliance. I was just like, Ben, why? Why are you talking? Just stop talking. Look at what has happened. This has benefited you not at all.
The weirdest thing happened during this Ben Boston Rob exchange, because I remember preseason. Guess what, everyone? I've already gotten a bunch of preseason predictions wrong. I thought Ben was going to be the first one out, and like my vision of it was that Ben was going to come in with this big old hat. I think I thought his hat was going to be like 5 times larger to hide like whatever sort of survivor ego was in there. And he was going to be wanting to be the sheriff of this tribe and control everything. And then Rob was going to look at him and be like, hey, you can't be the Boston sheriff here, it's me. And I thought that was how it was going to be. Instead, it was like Ben's hat shrunk like 8 sizes. And he was like me the time I met Boston Rob. And I was just being like, hey, Mr. Boston Rob, I'm such a big fan. It was kind of endearing, like how terrible Ben was at like actually saying something. It's like, Ben, you gotta jump to one side or the other. You can't be like, yeah, I don't want to say actually, no, I heard it from this person. It was Danny.
Yeah, and then it got kind of worse later because Ben was never on the radar at all.
Yeah.
So when he was like, I gotta get the target off of Adam. Why? Why do you need to do that? You guys haven't really had a whole lot of conversations here so far. Like, I get that you might like him or whatever, but like, why say anything right now? You already had this other thing happen where you let all these beans spill out. Just stop it. Just let what's going to happen. And if they decide something else, at least it's not you.
Let me do I'm going to have a series of crazy Survivor takes throughout the season. This may be the first. Is Ben almost like you go to a movie and it's really, really bad, but for some reason you kind of like it at the end? Was Ben so bad that he was actually kind of good tonight, where it's just sort of like he just completely torpedoes everything, he blows it out there, but nobody's really looking at Ben after this and being like, who I'm really threatened by is Ben.
Well, in that way, he's kind of stumbled into his own little bit of luck that maybe people are seeing him that they're just like, this guy's really terrible at this. Like, he can't keep a secret. He's stirring the pot. He's just someone we're not going to worry about right now.
Okay, so let's look at some of the people who were kind of in danger on the Blue Tribe. I will eventually get better at remembering their actual names. I'm usually terrible for like 3 episodes. Okay, so first of all, classic Survivor rule. Don't go wander off with someone like 2 minutes after you arrive to camp, because people look around and there's somebody's not here.
Absolutely, and it doesn't matter if you're looking for the water well or you're out plotting or you're
pulling a Tony and being like, hey guys, I'm going to look for the idol.
Yeah, or it just doesn't matter what you're doing. You can't do it. Absolutely. No. So it wasn't too surprising that people were starting to float their names out.
Yeah, Adam and Denise, Denise is so self-aware that Denise knows like how bad a move this was, but I think Denise is just also really, really smart, and I think she's sort of able to play it so cool after the fact that she's sort of able to diffuse the target that is on her a little bit after the fact. The thing that I guess this will be the one Survivor thing I kind of thought could happen is pre-game stuff. This is a weird season. Everyone's got deep relationships. We'll get to the weird image in my head of Yul watching weird Survivor poker showdowns in the middle of the night. We'll talk about that later. But in this case, Natalie and Jeremy, they know each other. They've been friends for a really long time. Yeah. They were close out there. Yeah. And it was kind of unavoidable that they would be a target. I just didn't necessarily think it would happen now because I thought Ben was going to shoot himself in the foot and worse. And 2, I just kind of thought that they were both like physical enough assets that you would want to keep them for a little while.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting it to turn around on them so soon. They are, at that point, just a duo, and there's still such a large tribe. You can deal with them a little bit later. Yeah. I thought that Denise was going to be in trouble or Adam was going to be in trouble. Like, I really felt like they had made the mistake. They went out on their own. Everyone knew it. Yeah. Everyone already knows what's going on with Natalie and Jeremy. They are someone that they can deal with a little bit later. But Denise and Adam a little more of a wild card. You don't know for sure. I thought that would have been a bit more of the better move to nip that in the bud right away and just separate them.
Yeah, this is the thing. My heart hates that Natalie is the first person who's voted off because I love Natalie. I love her enthusiasm. I love it when she gets angry at people. Like, there are so many qualities to Natalie that make her one of my favorite people to watch. But then my head is like, yeah, actually, I probably would have done the same thing in that situation. And it's just because they are so close, Natalie and Jeremy, that the further they go together, the more dangerous they're going to be. And at least Rob and Amber, they're on different tribes. And if...
For now.
Yeah, I understand.
This is another reason why I'm not understanding why no one was looking in Rob's direction.
Yeah.
Why? You know that eventually they're going to be merged. Then, their relationship, they're married. They have 1 million children together. Like, you need to get him out.
I'm not arguing with this idea. I think this is just my craziness on this is I want to keep Rob for at least like another couple of episodes because he's such a big target. He'll make me a really good camp that I can stay in for the remainder of the game.
Make your own camp and save yourself the headache of giving Rob $2 million.
I can't make a desk when they give me the instructions. I cannot make a camp. I gotta have Rob there to make the camp.
I would rather sleep on the ground and get eaten by ants.
This is what I would do. Maybe this is why I put this in the predictions, because it was what I would do. I would get close to the merge, and then I would actually throw the challenge and get rid of Rob at that, because I don't want Rob at the merge. I just want to take advantage of Rob and then get rid of him later.
Yeah, but that's not how it works with Rob. His charisma is off the charts. Well, if you keep him around, he's going to stick around. He's going to win.
Well, this is going to be a good spot for me to sort of identify who I think is my player of the episode, the person who I think actually played the best. I'm giving it to Parvati. And I'm giving it to Parvati because entering this season, enormous threat. Not only was no one really talking about getting rid of Parvati in this episode, but she decides to partner up with one of the biggest threats out there who will always be a bigger target than her.
Yep.
It seems like she's also working with Ethan and maybe to a certain extent Danny if they actually kind of all link up together.
Yeah.
So she's just got such a really good group of people around her. And by the way, Ethan is still so darn likable.
He is.
I didn't know if this was going to be like a Colby. Like back when All-Stars and Colby came back, he just was terrible. And he was stunk at everything. And Coach was driving him like up and down the challenge course. And it was just like, Ethan, you're doing so well. You're making me happy.
I really enjoyed Yule in this episode. And the reason why is because he kind of knows where he is. And seeing the other alliances and seeing the people that are all coming in are like, hey, how are your babies? Oh, and the poker alliance and everybody's friends outside the game. And he's like, oh man, okay, I'm not really part of that lifestyle outside of the game. So who else is in the same spot as me? And I think it's really cool that he kind of kept under the radar. Nobody's got him as a target, but yet he has built this really strong alliance of other people that are like, yeah, we're all on the outs. Okay, well, let's not be on the outs together. And then somehow Sandra falls back into this as well, which is good for them because she's a bigger target than all of them. I think it was just a lot of things went well for him tonight.
I was so surprised by Yule. I wasn't sure how he was going to do. He has really just like disappeared off of the Survivor planet for almost the entirety of the time since he won his season. I didn't know if he would know anyone, but he played pretty hard, I think, for this episode. He really communicated with a lot of people. We sort of have the nerd alliance of himself and Sophie. And as a fellow nerd, I will always throw myself into the nerd alliance as well.
Yep.
I like that. I like that he's working with some other people who are kind of a little bit new school, like Wendell and Nick, who are sort of up to speed with that. You know, my winner pick Wendell, he's doing all right now. He's the Boston Rob of this tribe. He's got to build everything, and everybody just expects him to. But he's doing all right. And yeah, I think He did well. I mean, I guess I'm a little worried that maybe he is playing the game so hard he'll become a target, but...
I just feel like he was really smooth about it tonight in the way that he did it. He didn't play it in a way where people are like, oh, look at you, look at what he's doing, he's chatting over here, he's chatting over here. I don't know how he was able to play it like that, but he played it really smooth.
Yeah, he played it really, really smart, and I think he's able to sort of build some alliances. But now... entering the second hour, we saw that Natalie had a choice. She was able to find this little clue, and this brings us into this fire tokens twist, which right now, I don't know how to feel about it, to be honest. It's kind of weird.
It is kind of weird. I'm not sure. I'm going to reserve my judgment until I see it play out just a little bit more. Like, it was... interesting in that they can trade these fire tokens for something like an idol and see if that, because that's pretty powerful in the game. So I'm not sure if it's every time it can be traded for an idol and there's 100 idols running around this game. I'm not going to really enjoy it, but I'm going to reserve my judgment and see a little bit further, because who knows, it could cause a little bit of friction where someone decides to spend all their tokens on rice, and they're like, we could have had a tarp for all of us, and we've been rained on for a week.
It's now time for an edition of Let's Watch Matt Be Hypocritical, and also, don't stop the video. I know I just said my name in third person, but no, see, there's a part of me that's like, oh, I'm actually kind of excited about this, because I feel like it was starting to get a little bit broken where people could just find idols, play an idol, go back to camp, find another idol the next morning, and that's not really that fun of Survivor to me, that somebody can just find an idol every episode. I kind of like the idea that you have to rely on your social game now to win people over, but at the same time, there's going to be a point where I'm like, man, I really wish somebody could find an idol at camp, and then I'm going to be upset that's not there.
Yeah, I like that. There's more pressure to have a bit of a social game with something like that.
The only other thing I guess I'm bummed out about with it right now, because let's say hypothetically Natalie and Jeremy were not on the same tribe. Natalie gets voted off first, and then she's like, oh, I'm just going to give Jeremy an idol because I like him, because I outside of the game stuff.
Yeah.
Then it kind of stinks, because then it's just like, oh, I'm just going to give this to my friend. It's like, okay, there's no strategy in this anymore.
No, and that's true, but that's not necessarily going to happen with everybody.
No.
Because there are people in this game that don't have the family bonds outside the game. So it just kind of depends on who it is. That's why I'm still waiting to find out if I really like it or dislike it yet. I'm going to give it a little more of a chance.
Yeah. That's good for you. I'm gonna go out and be like, probably shoot myself in the foot and say, I don't know if I'm gonna like it. You're doing a better job at this than me reserving judgment.
Well, you get really hyped about stuff, or you really don't.
Yeah, well, I was really hyped about that. I don't usually spend a lot of time talking about challenges in these videos, but the image of Boston Rob just like flinging people over the over whatever that was, the barrel, was immensely entertaining.
Yes, watching Kim pull 3 people across the ocean to go grab that bowl.
Yeah.
Woo, that was so awesome.
Yeah, there's like these little moments where like, oh yeah, Kim's back playing Survivor, or Kim's not even like a physical beast or anything. She
was there.
Yeah, she was there, and Rob was in his
so
little
awesome.
moment. Yeah, really good second immunity challenge. I always love a comeback. Apparently, Jeremy Collins is like a professional ring tosser in a past life, just comes up there and just smokes them. Okay, so the blue tribe is safe. They don't have to go back to tribal council. Here we find out that Natalie has decided to gift her immunity idol, or at least do the idol for the fire token exchange, with Sandra. This surprised me, because this is Natalie being like, oh, I have an idea. Let's give the 2-time winner the like more power.
It's true, but my thinking about it is like, okay, she's gonna give her the idol, but she's gonna take away that fire token, and it seems like the fire tokens can really matter, because at first I was thinking, well, it would have made sense in some ways if she wanted to give Jeremy the idol, because that's somebody that she wants to make sure is safe, but then she's taking away from him by doing it as well. So it's a hard decision to make.
Yeah, I mean, I think she lucked out a little bit, because Jeremy was on her tribe, so she couldn't give it to anybody on her tribe, and then at the same time, she also was in this situation where okay, I guess, do I want to give it to somebody who may... Because let's say she played it for Yul.
Yeah.
Maybe she would think, okay, Yul may not give it to... Yul may not want to do it, because Yul isn't that sort of player all the time. Sandra's a gunslinger. Sandra goes crazy, so maybe Sandra is going to be like, all right, let's do this. Let's go for it. And she did. Sandra took it.
Yeah, I think it's mostly... Natalie wants those tokens, so she's got to give it to somebody who is for sure going to hand it over, and Sandra was going to hand it over.
That's my thinking on. I mean, who knows? Maybe there's a secret friendship with Sandra and Natalie where they like met up and partied somewhere. I don't know, but let's talk about secret relationships, because this brings us back to your guy Yul, who is now going to be your guy for the foreseeable future.
That's right.
And
I'm Team Yul. I like him.
You gotta love Yul. Yul's just lovable. And I love Mr. Disconnected from the Survivor community is like somehow being aware of this like weird poker game that Boston Rob and Tyson and Kim were a part of, and I'm barely in touch with the Survivor community. I'm not a fan of the poker community, really. I had no idea that this happened.
No, and they probably were just kind of joking around with it, and now it's like become a thing that Yul is zeroed in on here.
Yeah, this happens. It's the people in the first couple of episodes. I think this pregame stuff will matter last like a week from now, but everyone just wants a reason to get rid of someone at this point.
They do.
And if they're just like, oh, it's the Poker Alliance. There's a dumb comment that we got caught on film. Let's get rid of them.
Yeah, but it was a good strategy as well to sort of put that out there into the ether that this is a thing and this could be a thing, and he saw it before the show and it worked.
Yeah, it worked, and it is something that got people talking. I mean, I would have liked to imagine, mostly because of what you've already said. You don't want to keep Boston Rob and Amber in this game anyway. That's why I feel like the second episode, I feel like we got some editing trickery in here, because I think that Amber was always going to go.
Yes, I do too.
Kind of no matter what, and I think they wanted to craft a good narrative. And they did. They gave us a very good narrative of Tony believing that he is in danger, and then Tony going into like classic Tony mode and freaking out, and then Tyson threw his own poker mates under that bus so fast.
Yes, he did. Only he's there for $2 million.
Yeah, I mean, Tyson will play hard. It was just, it's very disorienting to me to see Tyson on Survivor now as sort of like this father and this more serious figure, when I think his first time he was like dancing around in a loincloth, like yelling ooga booga at people.
And then it was cool to see Kim in this situation where she was on the outside going up to people being like, hey guys, what's going on? Oh, everybody's not talking. Oh, hey, how about you guys? Oh, you're not talking to me either? Oh man, I'm in trouble.
Yeah, I think Kim is used to being like the person everybody loves, and I think Kim probably is that person a lot in life because she seems so nice. But yeah, everybody knows that you're like an amazing Survivor player now, Kim.
Yeah, I thought that it was going to be Amber because that was what Sandra wanted. And she's sort of a big dog in this smaller alliance of Yul and these other players that aren't really connected with a lot of other people. So I think her straight up throwing Amber out there and being like, I'm really pissed off at Rob.
Yeah.
He didn't tell me he was coming back and I'm not having it, so his wife is going to pay for it.
This is I'm going to take a big L on this, because I thought that this whole, oh, Rob didn't tell me about him coming out here, I was just like, all right, they're just like creating some hype, like some wrestlers like cutting a promo for a pay-per-view. And this was actually a big thing, and as much praise as we all give Boston Rob, was this really, really bad on his part to not talk to Sandra about this? Because he kind of just maybe cost his wife the game.
Yeah, I don't know for sure, and I'm just kind of throwing it out there. I just didn't know if maybe because it's Survivor that they have a contract that's like this tall.
Yeah.
That's like, we will sue you for all these things, including talking about if you're on the next season or not. That maybe he was just like, you know what, I'm just not going to mention it.
I'm sure they probably have something in there, but I'm also sure that a lot of people probably break it.
Probably, but he may not have wanted to take the gamble at his $2 million.
I don't know what was going on here with Rob not saying it, but I think that hurt Amber really, really badly.
Really badly.
I don't know if it would have been different otherwise, because no matter how I play it out in my head, it's just like, okay, you're not going to get rid of Tyson at this point. He's too much of a challenge player, and, he's not married to someone on the other tribe.
Yep.
Kim, she's maybe a better option because she's thought of as such a big winner, but still also not married to someone on the other tribe.
Yeah, I think just them being married was going to make them the biggest targets out there.
Yeah, that just sort of feels like the way that this happened. I don't know if there was any other way around it now, but here's the interesting thing, I guess, about where we stand now, and this could really help Boston Rob moving forward all of a sudden.
Of course!
Because, if Rob's tribe loses, here's Amber, who I believe will make Rob an offer that he wouldn't want to refuse. Then we could have an idol play, and then things could get really crazy. But let's say Amber's tribe loses the next immunity. We'll talk more about this in the promo piece we're about to do. But then she can maybe go and make an offer to somebody with the idol. There's a lot that's going on here.
Yeah.
My brain is still trying to process all of it. It's sort of like I've had Christmas and my birthday all at once. But let's hear from you guys. What did you think about the Survivor Winners at War premiere? I know we have given praise to Parvati and Yul. Who do you think played the best? Let us know in the comments. And if you do like this video, give us a like, subscribe, and you can support us further by checking the link in the description to the CARTERMATT store. And we'll see you here next time.